They never saw you coming, but now they can't take their eyes off you. Ever noticed how the same people who doubted you suddenly can't stop talking about you? Like you've become their favorite mystery novel, except the real plot twist? You never needed them to win. Here's a fact. People fixate on those who defy their expectations. Why? Because it shatters their ego. Nothing stings more than watching someone rise when they swore you'd fall. Now, they're obsessed. Your name is their daily headline. Your success fuels their midnight debates. And your silence? That's the loudest part. They're losing sleep wondering, how did you do it? But let's be real. They don't just want answers. They want your blueprint, your magic, your secret sauce, even if they'd never admit it. 1. You broke the rules. They worshipped. They followed the so-called path to success. Stay in line, play it safe, never question authority. But you tore the rulebook apart and rewrote the game in your own language. That's what drives them crazy. You didn't just win, you won on your own terms. They can't wrap their heads around how you did it. So instead, they watch. They study. They gossip. Because deep down, they want what you have. 2. You moved in silence. While they made excuses, they overanalyzed, over-explained, overcompensated, and got nowhere. Meanwhile, you just did the work. No announcement, no permission seeking, no validation hunting. And now, they're obsessed, not because they want to celebrate you, but because they're haunted by the realization they could have done more. Ever noticed how the loudest critics are often the ones stuck in the same place? 3. Your growth proved their predictions wrong. They thought they had you figured out. They labeled you, doubted you, maybe even laughed at the idea of you succeeding. But now, you've shattered every false assumption they had about you. And that burns. Because your success didn't just prove them wrong. It made their judgment irrelevant. Every milestone you hit is another reminder of how little their opinions mattered. 4. You thrived without their approval. They thought they were the gatekeepers, that their validation mattered, that you needed their yes to succeed. You didn't. And that reality? It's unbearable for them. 5. Your authenticity exposed. Their insecurity. You live freely, boldly, unapologetically. Meanwhile, they're stuck living the life they settled for. Even if they won't admit it, your authenticity forces them to question everything. Ever wonder why some people criticize you so much? It's not because you're wrong, it's because you make them uncomfortable. 6. You're unpredictable, and they hate that. They like their narratives neat, their people pliable, their outcomes predictable. But you're untouchable, uncontainable, unpredictable. Every time they think they have you figured out, you evolve. And that makes them uneasy. Because in their world, control is everything. 7. Your resilience makes you unstoppable. They saw you stumble. They expected you to break. They even celebrated prematurely, thinking your downfall was inevitable. But you rose. Again. And again. They can't comprehend it. Because the system rewards conformity and punishes resilience. And yet, here you are, thriving despite every attempt to hold you back. 8. Your success exposes their mediocrity. While you took bold action, they hesitated. While you took risks, they played it safe. Now, every win you achieve forces them to confront their biggest fear. They wasted their potential. But instead of owning that, they project. They attack. They resent. Because it's easier to blame you than to face their own regrets. 9. You created something out of nothing. They followed trends. You created them. They chased validation. You built value. Now, they're obsessed. Not because they admire your vision, but because they realize they could never do what you did. 10. You refused to let pain define you. They waited for your struggles to break you, expected hardship to silence you. Instead, you turned every setback into a setup. And that truth? It's unbearable for them. Because now, they have to face the reality. Their failures weren't because of obstacles. They were because of fear. Here's the reality. The more they obsess over you, the more they reveal their own insecurities. Their fixation isn't admiration, it's fear. Fear that your life is the one they wish they had the courage to live. But here's the real kicker. You've already won. Because no matter how much they analyze, watch, or try to tear you down, they can't stop your rise. They can't rewrite the narrative you created. And that, my friend, that is the ultimate victory. Let's talk. Have you ever noticed someone who once doubted you suddenly watching your every move? Drop a comment. Let's get real. And if this hit home, share it. Because someone out there needs to hear this today.